Hello everyone, this is Peggy Shannon-Baker. I'm here with a video on how you can use the Microsoft Word styles to help you with your APA style formatting using the 7th edition. I like to use styles because it helps me to quickly select the style that I want and also automatically generate a table of contents later based on the heading styles that I've used in the template. This is going to follow APA 7th edition style guidelines. You can see or probably gather here that I'm using a PC version of Microsoft Word. This is the version that comes from Microsoft Office 365. So if you're using a Mac or a slightly older version of Word, yours might look a little bit differently, but hopefully you can still find the styles option. I find the styles to be the most helpful for me when I personally write papers, as I can always go and click the style option that I want to make sure the area that I'm working on is formatted. So I've started up a brand new document, and you can see in the style section here that I have a lot of different styles going on. Some of them have names, some have different colors, sizes, and so on. If I go into my text of the paper and I say this is going to be my headings, my title for the paper, here I'm writing some interesting ideas, you can already tell that I've got two different things happening. There's also some interesting things with this arrow. We don't really know what's going on. Where's my normal text? And so on. This does not follow an APA formatted paper. Not for the 6th edition, the 7th edition, or any previous ones. So let's figure out how to get that set up automatically for you in styles here. So in my styles, I can see that the heading 1 option is already right here. You might have to press this down arrow to look for the heading that's labeled heading 1, or you might need to click on this, which will populate a big list here of all the possible headings that you could use. But I like to use these up here because they're a bit faster. I want us to actually start with normal. Normal means this is what everything, all of the other headers are going to be based around. So if we make any changes to this one, after we change these, it's going to actually change all of these other headings as well. So let's start with normal and go to modify. Now you can see that it's based on a certain kind of styling, but I actually want it to just be based on itself. Now we know for APA style guidelines that you can use any basic kind of format for the font. I personally just always go to Times New Roman if I know that I'm going to be working in APA. You can also change the size of the font. I again always go to Times New Roman and 12. Here you can set up certain alignment settings. So for normal, it should be left justification. And you can see I have some spacing options. This is single spaced, 1.5 space, and double spaced. APA should be double spaced. Now down here we have some other options as well that you're only going to make changes to this document or to new documents based on this template. If you're making these changes, you don't want to have to set this up every time, so I recommend selecting new documents based on this template. Now, if you needed to change the formatting of the paragraph in some fashion, you should go here, and you'll see that there's a large number of other additional formatting things that you can change. Let's go to the paragraph to make sure we don't have any additional spacing after the paragraphs. We have a first line indent of 1/2 inches. We're still using double spacing. I always uncheck this. This means that if you do have spacing here, if you have the same style, it's not going to add the spacing, but I usually uncheck that. Now we click OK, and you might have seen up here that several of these slightly changed. So this means whenever I type in text, text, these are new paragraphs. They're all going to follow automatically the new normal setting that I have. Now let's go to the headings. Heading 1. We're going to modify this to follow the level 1 heading APA style guidelines. Now this should be the style based on the normal. So it will automatically change it to follow some of the basic structure from normal, but some things will change, so we'll need to pay attention. Again, we're going to use Times New Roman and 12, making sure it's double spaced. For level 1 heading, it should be centered, bolded, and using title case heading. That means that each major word should be capitalized. We're going to check that new documents are based on this template, and I'm just going to double check to make sure we don't have any extra spacing in here. And also that the first line indentation no longer is there. So we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And now let's say that my text here is actually the title of my paper. So now I can type the title of my paper here. Now let's imagine we needed to have a level 2 heading. Now we can change our level 2 heading. Let's base this style again on the normal setting. You can see that when I had that before, it just kind of pulled something that I had randomly already preset in Word. But I want it to be based on the normal heading. Now we've got to make sure to go through all of the others. For level 2 heading, in APA 7th edition, you'll want to make sure to use consistent formatting for font, style, or type and size. It's still going to be bolded. It needs to be flush with the left and double spaced using title case heading. Now you might be seeing here from the preview that it looks like we have an indentation here. So we need to make sure to go into the paragraph, and sure enough, that first line indentation is here, but we're not actually using that. It needs to be flush with the left for level 2 heading. And I already changed it to new documents based on this template, and then click OK. So I could highlight this here and change it to heading 2. Already now is using the level 2 APA style heading. Let's do the level 3 heading. So level 3 here already has a lot of stuff going on with it. It's in a different color, it's in a different font, even though I said, hey, base it on the normal formatting. So that means we need to make sure to go through and double check everything. Need to make sure it's black for the font color. And for the formatting for level 3, this is a new change to the APA 7th edition. Flush left, which we can see we still have an indentation. So I'll go down here to the paragraph, go to none. So there's no indentation. I also happen to see that there's some space before that. We should remove that here. So it's flush with the left, and it should be both bold and italicized. That's for the level 3 heading, and it's still going to use title case heading. Remember, each time you make a change, to make sure that this continues to happen with your future documents, you want to make sure that you check this option. So this is heading 2. Now, automatically when I hit enter, it recognizes it as text, but let's say I actually want to have heading 3 here. I can highlight this while it's in normal and tell it heading 3, and it will change it for me. APA style guidelines offer 2 more levels, but hopefully this video has showed you how to set up the styles, at least for the first few, and then you can continue on locating other heading styles to change them to automatically fit APA style guidelines. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, give it a like, share it, and check out my other video for a paper you've already written that doesn't follow APA style.